So thank you. So hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you for having me today. And thank you for WIN conferences for putting this on.
Thank you so much for your continuous support with us. Thank you so much for being a speaker for this on this special occasion on Women's International Day. So firstly, happy Women's International Day. So before we start the session, so we will play a beautiful introduction video of yours. So later you can start your session, okay?
Elizabeth Duncan Hawker has trained thousands of professionals to increase sales, referrals, and collaborations by learning how to effectively engage with others. Whether she's speaking from a live or virtual stage or consulting entrepreneurs, universities, and organizations in workshops, her techniques enable leaders to hit higher goals. Elizabeth's results-driven experience was molded over 2 decades in executive strategic leadership for an $8 billion company. In 2016, she founded the Red Hawk Strategic Solutions Consulting Company. Today, she provides custom training on advanced soft skills, body language, and customer experience. Her international bestseller guidebook, Collecting True Friends, provides busy men and women the practical, yet forgotten, strategies to cultivate more quality relationships everywhere. Leaders love the methodologies and strategies to gain quick insights to improve their relationships and attract better people into their lives and workplace. Elizabeth regularly guest speaks on podcasts and has been seen on news and media sources such as CBS and Fox.
Wow. Okay, I loved that. I have to tell you, when that you just won me over with that one.
Yeah.
So anybody,
Thank you so much. You can start your session. Thank you.
that was incredible. I loved it. I need to bring the robot with me. She's incredible. That was wonderful. Do you want to go ahead and pull up the first slide? We'll get started.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for all the tech help. So while we're doing that, we're going to talk about the secrets to how to communicate and how to attract allies. And as I just said earlier, it's very important that we understand when we're talking about allies, we're talking about in business. So, or it could be in your community. It could be that in your not-for-profit volunteering time, in your church, in your neighborhood. But allies are the people that you come in contact with, and then also the influencers. And when you do this correctly, then what's going to happen is you're going to build a communications intelligence that gets super aware. Your self-awareness is tuned in, and you're paying attention to when somebody's saying certain words. Is that what they're really saying? Because is that what their body's telling you, or is that not what they're doing? So I think we're trying to get up the first slides. I'm not seeing them yet. So as we're getting ready to go into this, let's take a moment and let me throw some truth out to you. When we talk about soft skills are hard. And I want you to realize this. We did not learn this in school. So it wasn't like you had a soft skills 101 or communications intelligence 202 class that you were held to. So that's the problem, is that when you get into the workplace or into the communities, or even socially when you're mixing with people, they expect you to know certain soft skills. Melinda, I'm not seeing anything yet. Am I supposed to be?
Okay, one second. Shruti, can you please maximize your screen and share the slides?
Thank you. And I think that's when back to the comment about that we weren't taught this in school. That's one of the biggest misnomers that's out there, is that when you hire somebody and you bring them into the workplace and then you're amazed that they don't fit in or they're not getting along with people, then all of a sudden, thank you, that's perfect. So then that's when the truth hits you, and you're going, well, I didn't know that I've just committed what in the French call, now that we're in France today, the social faux pas, right? So you want to maximize that, please? Bring up the screen. Thank you. Make it a little bit better. So unfortunately, when we're looking at promotions, we're looking at opportunities, we're looking at if somebody wants to be our ally, which I've just defined as a colleague in business, and that's somebody that's going to become a mentor or somebody that wants to work with you, right? So go to the next slide, please. So when it comes back to it, what you're going to realize, and that's what we're talking about today, is your worth is tied to your network. And I know you've heard that terms before. So your network is tied to your net worth. So in other words, how much money you're going to make. Like there was a study that showed, for example, that the closest people that you have, the first 10 to 15 people that are closest to you that you regularly hang with, if you take on an average of what they make, that's about where your dollar range will be on your what your income will be. So that's when we talk about network and net worth. So they always say if you want to make more money or if you want more opportunities, then you need to, of course, put yourself into a better environment. But here's another thing I don't think you realize. Did you also know that your network is tied to your health? Next slide, please. And this is what most people don't realize is that when you do not have a healthy relationship with people and you do not have a good group of friends, allies, mentors, colleagues, guess what? It is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day on your body. Well, how so? Well, because Cigna Health did a study, and what they found out is that social isolation, and that's some people call that loneliness, you can be in a group, you can be in a meeting, you could be at a network event, you could be with a group of friends. And yet, if you aren't feeling that connection, guess what? That's loneliness. So there's a big difference between wanting to be alone. But what happens is on our body, physiologically, it's like 15 cigarettes a day, and it actually increases our risk of heart disease by 30%. So I want you to think about this as we're talking through, because I hear a lot of people say to me, Elizabeth, why do I need more friends? Why do I need more allies? Why do I need to make more contacts? Why? What people? I am what I am, and they want to be true. Next, please. So, but the important part to remember is that you have, we used to call it the inner circle, and you still may talk about that, you know, your tight group of friends. But I want you to think about this. And also, could you make it any bigger? Can you make their slides bigger for them? I want you to think about this, because I have seen more women that will lug around a huge handbag, okay? And when you go to ask them what's in there, they have no idea. And I actually put that in my book that I wrote called Collecting True Friends. So it's one of the chapters I talk about there as far as the inventory of your friendships and the people that are in your life. And this is relevant because who are you lugging around? Whether it's the people from your office, people in your community, if they're not people that are helping you with the type of person you want to be. Remember, we just talked about collectively the people that you're hanging with is going to be representative of how much money you're going to make. It's also going to affect your values. Okay. So I want you to start thinking about that, because you may actually have a handbag, and that's a metaphor, but you may have a handbag of people in your life that when you look in there, you go, why? I've known this person since fifth grade, but I don't feel better when I hang out with them. Or this person only reaches out when they need anything. Or these people don't support my goals, my secrets, my dreams. And we're going to talk about that, which is a really important indicator of who you need to communicate, connect with better. Okay. Next. Okay, so this is back to the questions of why we need strategies. And I've heard this over and over, and that's why I actually wrote that book, Collecting True Friends. We need strategies, because when you do not have strategies in your life about the people that you want to engage with, what you want more of in your life, and what you want less of in your life, it will cost you. And it's not just financially, but you will go through a lot of emotional heartache that you don't necessarily need to do. So that's why you need strategies. And my whole point of view on this is that you need to make sure that you are worthy of the people that are worth your time and devotion. And likewise, those are the ones that get to be part of your world. Go ahead, please. So here's the thing. You've heard over and over, they talk about communications. Oh my goodness. Yes, we know our words aren't as effective as our voice and tone, and body language is so important because you can say the exact same thing, same words, same sentence, but voice and tone are going to affect how it's interpreted, right? It's not how you said it. It's not what you said. It's how you said it. You've all heard that, right? So with it, I want you to start thinking about, okay, you can control those things, which is your voice, your tone, your words, your body language, if you're aware of them. But when we go through this today, I want you to realize it's all of it together that you need to get. And I want you to ask yourself, what is that image that I'm perceiving? So when I'm communicating and I'm connecting with people, and I'm going to use some of Elizabeth's secrets coming up here, what is that image that's being perceived? And thank you. And there's 4 skills that you really need to get into and you need to understand. Okay. And they are a little bit secrets because I'm going to give you some specific ways you can use them. The first thing, and you're going to laugh, but I've heard more and more people tell me this. And when I'm in a live audience, then the crowd goes crazy. But I tell them the first thing is check how approachable you are. And for goodness sakes, fix your face. You would be so surprised how many people show up at events just like the ones today, and you're trying to figure out if you're going to talk to this person, and the person is squunching their face together and they're looking at you like this because maybe it's pollen season. Maybe they don't feel well, or they are highly confused by the person that's standing in front of them. Okay. So that's approachability. It's likability. And when you don't look approachable, and if you're not sure if you look approachable, here's one of my secrets for you. I want you to bring a networking buddy with you, or somebody that came to the summit with you. And I want you to ask them, did I look approachable from a distance? When that person came and introduced themselves to me, did I seem approachable? Or did I put the double 11s in my forehead and look at them like I don't understand what they're saying? So really important, work on your micro expressions, seem approachable, because your goal is to be likable. And here's a great example. Let's get connected. This is a super, super way that I'm showing you, hey, I want to get to know you better. If you don't have a link tree, go to mine. You'll see how it's set up. So linktree/The Red Hawk. That's the name of my consulting company, The Red Hawk. And when you go to that, you'll see everything about me and we can easily connect. When you make yourself easily connectable, you are likable. You are approachable. So go and get yourself a link tree set up today. It's free. There's no reason why you don't have one. And it's one link that then has all of your social media to it. Beautiful. So here's a hard question for you. If you had a potential good friend or a business ally standing right there in front of you, could you spot them? I've seen more people go into networking events, be in a business meeting, be new to a company and sit there and be so self-absorbed that they don't even realize that this person has just given them an open door to get to know them a little bit better. And yet they didn't see or spot anybody potentially. Maybe because the person didn't look like them. I have the most eclectic mix of friends, for example, and it's interesting because at one time I got them all together because I couldn't figure it out on my schedule. So I got about 8 of them together. And it was interesting because none of them looked alike. None of them talked alike. They all came from different backgrounds, but there was something in each one of them that was intriguing enough that that's where I coined the term, I collected them as a true friend. So when you start knowing what you need more of is when you're going to start realizing that the people are standing right in front of you. They're right here. You're bumping into them. So this thing when people say to me, Elizabeth, I'm not meeting anybody new. I don't see anybody new. They may be in your business. It may be the delivery guy that's coming in. It may be a vendor that you're having a meeting with. You don't know, but start looking at people from like, do their values align with mine? What do I want more of in my life? Remember the purse metaphor? What do you want to take out of your purse and what do you want more of that's a compliment? Because wouldn't it be cool, and this is a true photo here. Wouldn't it be cool if you next time you were together on something, you actually knew what your values were, you knew what you stood for, you knew what kind of people, like for example, one of my values is I stay away from mean people. If I see meanness in any way, and I watch people, they don't get to be in my inner circle. They don't get to be part of that. I look and reward people that are generous to other people that want to be inclusive, right? So for example, this is a true meeting that I went to. And at the end of it, everybody was so happy. They were like, hey, let's grab a shot. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could collect fun, smart people that are aligned with your values, that the next time that you needed a phone call answered, that you could just pick up the phone, call one of them and say, hey, I have a question in business, or who do you think I should get mentoring by, right? And that you could actually help them and they could help you. That's what I want you to start thinking about, because these are the secrets. And the first thing we talked about was approachability and likability. Go ahead, please. So when we do this, I want you to also think about, okay, well, to be more approachable, more likable, what would be some of the things I should start doing? These are easy for you, but you have to, and you can take a picture with your camera, snap screen this, because it's very important that you start doing some of these things. The first thing, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you, is when you're going into a room or you're going to a meeting, don't do full smile. I have a high wattage smile, so don't do when you first go in. What you want to do is when you're meeting somebody and extending your hand, or you already know them and you don't need to shake their hand, then you would just look at them and slowly warm smile them. It shows a genuineness that then goes there. Can you go back, please? That's a warm smile is going to instantly get you some trust there. Go back, please. The other thing I want you to think about is I want you to think of a story you can share. People need vulnerability. They need to hear something from you. And when they hear things from you, something about it, maybe your dog was sick this weekend, but people need to hear a story from you. They need to know you are human. That's called the human to human connection. So the other thing I want you, third tip here, I want you to think about is I want you to be interested in them. Now you can say you've acted interested in them. I hope it's not going to be an act, but I want you to listen. And if they're boring you to tears, I want you to think there's got to be something here that I can work with. There's got to be something here that I don't know about, either that person or maybe a new hobby, but I need you to show some interest in them, because when you do that and then you retain that information, the next time you see them, you can say, hey, you'd mentioned your daughter was sick or she was going off to college. How is that going? So even though you maybe don't have children going to college, but you were interested in that. So then follow up. If somebody needs something from it, be a resource for it. Be a resource. Follow up with them. Hey, I mentioned to you I would make an introduction to such and such. Did she get back to you on that? Follow up is going to get you there. So these are all what ifs. You don't have to do all of them, but I highly recommend that you start incorporating a lot of them into there, because these are your secrets, communications, and strategies to get you connected. And you're going to build an influential network like you just can't even believe when you start doing these things. The other thing I want you to do, please, please, please check your information. Know what you're talking about. Do not be one of the people that shows up that then is just spouting information or it's outdated. Stay current. If you're in a certain industry, make sure you're well read on it. Make sure you're up to date on your stats. Make sure that you can be that expert in that. And if you don't know, say you don't know. And the last thing is celebrate them. I want you to start looking at people, and if they tell you something joyous going on in their life, they're writing a book, they're having a baby, they just had a grandchild, they bought a new house, make sure you put that in your phone, you save it under their name, or you write a little hand card and you celebrate them. People need to be celebrated, and they will remember you forever. And that's what we're moving into, is how to become more memorable, because we talked about approachable, likable. Our third thing is memorable. And then our fourth thing is going to be trustworthy. But I want to take a moment and talk about being trustworthy, because it's a really touchy word. And in my book, I put, be a magnet to those worthy of your time and devotion. A lot of women don't like the word worthy. Okay. And it's the correct word. You have to be worthy to get the right people in your life. And you have to, in turn, know what those people are that you're worth, and for them to be giving your time and devotion. Okay. So when we talk about that with trustworthy, it's very important, because you cannot make connections, you cannot make influential networks if you're not trustworthy. And that means if you give your word, you do what you say you're going to do. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're going to let the person know in advance. You're also going to, and here's a big thing, particularly with women, we're going to talk about the truth bomb about trust. I hope you're ready for it. So this is the thing when somebody's standing in front of you, and I've had it happen many times to me. And for example, they may not necessarily know me very well, but they're feeling a connection. Or maybe I've just caught them on that day that they haven't had anybody else to talk to, and then they share something with me. Maybe they tell me, here's one. They finally fixed their finances and they're going to buy a house, or they're writing a book. Okay. And I know that happened to me when I was writing a book, but they were brave enough to share with you the secret, and it was their secret. Or flip this over here. You were finally telling somebody a secret that you've been wanting to do. It could be a dream. It could be you want to start your own business. Next, please. It's really important the way the peers approach this with you, because what I've seen happen over and over, and you can see from the ginger there, is she just told this beautiful lady something that was really profound in her world. That in her world, and let's just say I'll use my author story, that she just said, yeah, and I'm writing a book and it's, and the person was like, oh, really? Okay. And then took the phone call. This is how people feel when we don't hold them for that moment and when they're being vulnerable with us and they're sharing the secret. So if you want to be considered trustworthy, if you want to be considered likable, approachable, and memorable, which are all secrets that have to happen to gain allies and to gain friendships and business partners, then you have to realize when somebody's telling you something really, really vulnerable to them, and you have to celebrate with them. Next one, please. Because what happens when they don't is then you're never going to tell anybody that again. And then secondly, if you have not taken the time to honor that with the person and acknowledge it, they're not going to tell you anything else again, because they're going to go, well, I guess I don't talk about important things like that with that type of person. And they cut you out. And then you're surprised when the relationship doesn't go deeper. Okay. So I want you to start thinking of a true friend or an ally is when you make your list of things, and what are the things that you like, the purse we talked about. Who do you want more of in there? Who do you want less of in there in your bag that you're carrying around in life? Or some people call it inner circles. But if you start thinking about it, it's like, well, I want somebody who's going to support my dreams. I want somebody who's going to not laugh at me when I tell them I'm going to do something new. Maybe you're going back to school and you're 45 years old and you don't want somebody to go, really? Where are you going to have time for that? Right? So a true friend and an ally is going to believe in you first. Did you catch that? And then they're going to help you get out of your way. And this is a true photo right here of my book on the beach in Mexico with one of the people that was so supportive when my book went live that everywhere she went on vacation, she would take a picture of the book and then post it on social media, because she knew that I needed to know that this is going to happen. It's going to be great. And even though I was a first-time author, I was nervous about it. So get people that are going to help get you out of your way, because we all suffer from the confidence lack sometime. Even the most confident people do. And we've heard a lot of speakers talk about that today. Next, please. So I want you to start thinking about, in summary, of the action items that we're going to take. I love this slide here where it's got like the light bulb. You remember how we have like Einstein who invented the light bulb? And what did he try? Somebody knows that, they can put it in the chat. Is it like 900 different times he tried? And he said, but I didn't fail all those times. I succeeded once. It's all he had to do. But stay away from the people that pop your dreams. The ones when you're trying to share something, like I just said, a secret, and then they go, really? How are you going to fit that in? Or where are you going to get the money from that? Or you've tried so many different things. Stay away from them. Just mentally note who they are. They don't get to be in your bag that you're carrying through life. Then I want you to do the warm smile. Do that more often. That's not the big smile. It's the warming up smile that says, I'm really glad to see you. And it shows a genuineness and a warmth, and people will start remembering you for that. I also want you to listen for other people's dreams and the things that they've shared, and then feel honored that they actually shared them with you. And then I want you to reward their vulnerability with your trust. And that means you're not going to go blab to everybody what somebody has shared to you in confidence. It's really important. You're going to show them encouragement. And if it's possible, and this is what I do all the time, because I'm a huge connector with a big influencer network, is I find them a resource. So I've become the person that they call me up and they go, hey, do you know a person that could help this person because my friend needs this? And when you do that, you find those resources for people, not with anything for you, but you find those resources for them, they will forever adore you. And then next time you need a resource, they're going to jump in. So that's what we're calling the law of reciprocity. When you do for somebody selfishly, selflessly, and you do it just because it's the right thing to do, you will be rewarded later because you won't even know it, but they're going to help you in the future. And that's the law of reciprocity. And when that happens, I want you to show gratitude. If you find out about it, you may never even know that somebody was your gatekeeper and that they were your ally long before you even knew it. The two more things we talked about: watch the micro expressions. Make sure you're not showing up with the double 11 in the face. And one of the best things you can do, I know I'm giving you a lot of good information here, but one of the best things you can do is if you want somebody to talk more with you, and this is a body language technique, is you can actually tilt your head to the left. And when you tilt your head to the left and then you lift your eyebrows at the end, okay, they will automatically start talking more because you're showing you're intrigued. So don't interrupt them. Just tilt your head to the left. When they get done, lift your eyebrows, warm smile. You would be surprised how many people are going to start talking to you and being a confident with you. And then the last thing, remember, our goals are: we want to be approachable. We want to be likable and interesting. That will make you interesting. If your behaviors are doing these things, and then that makes you trustworthy, that they're going to start talking to you a little bit more. So I do have a couple things. We do have a strategy class coming up. If that's helpful to you, if you have a company and you want to learn a little bit more, we can put the link in the chat. I can add that for you in a moment. And then I do have a free gift for you too. Please go to the next slide. So this is a reminder, if you want to snapshot that again with your camera, get a picture of that, because that's your 4 things you're working on. And I think the gift is coming up, please. It should look like this. Oh, that's my website, elizabethduncanhawker.com/secrets. When you go there, you're going to get this. This is my gift to you. It's a handout with 7 secrets to effectively connect everywhere with everyone. It's an easy handout. You're not going to get spammed. I'm not going to put you on a great big mailing list and keep shouting out at you. I don't do that. The next thing, please, as we're wrapping up here. So I want to make sure we have time for questions. There's the link there, and I can put it into the chat. I'll grab that for you. And I want to make sure everybody just really, if you have a moment, let's put a question in there. I'm happy to answer some questions because this is your time. And I'm trying to add to the chat. Let's see if I can add that. There we go. There you go. So that's your free gift that you can go right in there and get. I know I gave you a lot of information. We talked about body language. We talked about movements. We've talked about why some things work and other things don't. What can I answer questions on? Love to answer questions for you. Any thoughts?
Thank you so much, uh, um, Elizabeth, for the amazing speech today. So, so today we have received a free and so you talked about the body language, how
Yes.
to communicate.
Melinda, you're breaking up a little bit.
So, yes. Uh,
Do you want to put it in the chat? I can't. Oh, thank you for the kind
understand,
words.
uh,
Oh, I so want to hear your question, Melinda.
and everything. Community is very important.
Can anybody else understand her question and maybe put it in the chat?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, they can't understand you either. Can you write it in the chat, Melinda? Any other questions from attendees while Melinda's typing that in there? I know I gave you a lot. We cover a lot when I do the trainings.
I think
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
so. Hear me?
Yeah, sorry, we can't hear you. So, but this is the kind of thing that once you start implementing it, you're going to start realizing that you'll start understanding when people are saying certain words to you, that the words, even though they're saying yes or call me back, where everything, if you start understanding how their body language is, if you start seeing their micro expressions, if you start responding differently, then all of a sudden, then you're going to realize, oh my goodness, like I totally read that wrong. And then when you stop reading people wrong, then you're going to find out more people want to be your allies and friends and help you. Oh, thanks for the hearts. I love that. Melinda, I still want to hear your question. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So my email, I'll put this in the chat too. And please make sure you get your free gift. That's for you. That's for you to grab. It's ElizabethDuncanHawker.com/secrets. And that's so you get your printout. That's this. And it's really going to help you a lot because it goes through a lot of practical things. Melinda, are you back? I still have the red arrows on her. Well, thank you, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. I wish I was live there in Paris with you. I know one of my colleagues, Linda, and my friend and ally.
Hi, Elizabeth. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
No, there is a technical glitch.
yes. Oh, it says, how would your coworker describe?
So, Elizabeth, can you hear me
I can.
now?
Yes. Oh, I can. As far as how would your coworker describe your personality? Talking about mine? Was that the question, Melinda, to me, right? Okay, well, we're going to go with it. It's directed towards me. So I've had a lot of people tell me that the outgoingness is something that at first they struggle with. So I have learned over the years to start reading people. And if I feel like their energy is lower than mine, or they're quieter, or they're more of an introvert, then I start pulling my energy down and I start talking a little bit slower and I stop talking as much. Does that make sense? So y'all, did you notice that? So like I just start bringing it down because I want people to start feeling more comfortable with me. And then I'll also do a couple of deep breaths. So I'll do some deep breathing with them there so they'll feel a little bit more comfortable. And as far as major challenges I faced, I would say that the hardest major challenges is that if I had known everything I know now 20 years ago in my corporate career, it would have made it so much easier when they were sending me in to negotiate with surgeons and CEOs and work big deals, because I believed people's words. And when you cannot read their body language and you don't know what their intentions are and they're telling you one thing, you walk away being a fool, because then you go back to tell your manager that this is what happened, and yet you totally misread the situation. So these are skills that will help you. Communicating and connecting skills are something I highly encourage everybody to just keep beefing up more and more. And we actually have a summit. I'm going to be in Dallas. So the SciCon Summit is in Dallas, if anybody is here in America, and it's September 13th through the 14th. And we're going to be talking about so many this human intelligence training. If that's of interest to you, you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to make an introduction for you on that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for the wonderful presentation and sharing with us. So I think you have answered our question. It
Thank you.
was really a unique presentations today. So I know you are there from the beginning of this conference. I can see your comments for each speaker. So thank you so much for your continuous support from the beginning of this conference. So we need your continuous support for our future conferences as well.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Melinda, for organizing
Yeah,
this and your team. Everybody, we appreciate everything. And thank you for Linda Jordan, who was introducing me to you all. So once again,
done the speaker.
resources.
Bye bye.
Thank you.